Happy Friday. Welcome to the 3 Things I Learned: SaaS, sports, tech, and live events. Number 1, let's talk about recessions, jobs, what's happening right now in the market, and what that means for joining a startup or a high growth company. Spent some time with a friend the other day who is a VC investor on seed rounds. He has been doing this for 25 plus years, and he told me, and I quote, "I'm spending all of my time right now closing down businesses and firing people." I then played golf with a friend of mine who's been in private equity for 20 plus years, who said, "We use leverage to fund deals, and leverage just got a lot more expensive. It's getting harder to do deals." And finally, I read on LinkedIn from a recruiter that there's never been a worse time to join a startup with all the layoffs that are happening in technology. I disagree. Now, there's always negative prognosticators of what's going to happen in the future. Everybody talks about how Japan has stagflation for 10 years, but Australia had 30 years of growth, et cetera, et cetera. Now is the best time to join a startup or a high growth company because they're underneath the microscope. All the companies who didn't have good discipline are not getting funded. They're being shut down by my friends, or they're having trouble finding those conversion rounds in B and C where they can transition. If you can find a business that's getting funded right now, that's finding success during these times, you can look back on history and find all of these major unicorns that were built during downturns. Now is the time. If you can go find a business. You know, there's that old saying that when the tide goes out, you find out who's been swimming without shorts on. It's pretty easy to see which companies have shorts on. Try to find a chair there before the music stops elsewhere. That's number 1. Number 2, you got to get while the getting is good. And in 2005-2006 Rose Bowl, the getting was real good. So back in 2005, USC football went undefeated and the Texas Longhorns went undefeated, and they went to a collision course at the 2006 Rose Bowl on January 4th at the Rose Bowl. The game was announced on December 2nd and played on January 4th. That month in between, I was responsible for corporate sales for the game. It was the most expensive game I've ever seen, even more expensive than the Super Bowl meltdown between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks when the brokers got together to try to break StubHub. At the day of the game, I was working at the table for pickup for StubHub. People were offering $10,000 a ticket just to get in the building, and there were no tickets to be had. From December 2nd to January 4th, every phone call I made was making me money. The getting was good, and you gotta get getting while the getting was good. No time off. I took no weekends off. During the holidays, I locked myself in my parents' guest room out in Palm Springs, and I spent 14 hours a day just working on that event until it finally ended and it got back to normal. We've had those times here, and we talked to our team about it. You gotta get it while the getting is good, so get to getting. That's number 2. And number 3, we're all playing a rigged game. We all like to believe that we're not, and every now and then a bad guy gets caught. But spend some time this week reading about FTX, what happened there with Binance, what happened with the hedge fund that was market making for the firm. What they were doing wasn't technically illegal. A lot like a lot of things that Enron was doing weren't technically illegal. But they should have been, and they were really nasty. Enjoy the mayhem while you go read those stories. We'll share the links down below. Money is all that matters to too many people, but then again, that's not news to us. Matthew 4 told us that a long time ago. That's it for the 3 things this week. We'll see everybody next week.